Hey, I'm not sure if we're live. Is it? Hang on. Yeah. Is it? Is it? Yeah, and we're live. Hey, how's it, everybody? Welcome to office hours for August 27th, 2023. Korean natural farming live coming at you all around the world from good Hawaii here. Yeah, hey. Yeah, usually I get here a little bit earlier and have it count down, but today just got here just in time, sort of, not really. So let's start with a little bit of higher wisdom. Bring some of that into the mix. So today is inner truth. Through openness and gentleness, the correct solution is reached. Arriving at the correct solution to a difficult situation requires receptivity to inner truth. Unless we are willing to put aside the strong emotions of our egos and devote ourselves to discovering what is right, there can be no hope of progress at this time. Help only comes when we invite it with a sincere and innocent attitude. The I Ching teaches us a simple but effective method of influencing difficult people in arduous situations. It advises us first to lay aside our prejudices, our feelings of being wounded, angry, in the right. And second, to seek and understand the position of others and the lesson the sage is teaching us with the situation. Even when another is truly out of line, it is only by accepting this and remaining balanced that you make it possible for positive change to occur. Gentleness and understanding create in others an unconscious willingness to be led. The superior person, therefore, avoids the use of anger and force in trying times, knowing they only prolong the conflict. It is far wiser to accept that each experience we have is necessary for us to learn something about ourselves and the higher laws of life. The greatest openings come when we meet difficulty with acceptance, gentleness, and desire to understand the lesson underneath. So, interesting thing there. Ooh, almost knocked that over. That wasn't good. Yeah, always the inner truth. What is our inner truth here? What are we trying to get at? I don't know. Spreading some Korean natural farming around the world. I guess that's why I'm here. It's my inner truth. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so, and then what's up, everybody? Hey, we got the whole world tuned in here. That's also the inner truth, trying to, I don't know, I guess showing up here to continue to facilitate a way for the Korean natural farming community to come together. It's another part of my inner truth. But let's see here. So this week I got a few emails that were of note and interest. One of those was from one of my past students here. Sorry, I'm kind of dragging here, but one one of my past students. So let me see if I can cue this up here. Get this going. Hey, Bird. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super chats. That's also why I'm here, right? It's a job. I'm trying to make money. As I support a community. So I appreciate that. I believe that's the one reason that my YouTube still has income is super chats. Because I don't really get them from the other way. And then, so let me see. I'm going to screen share over here. Maybe I'll just do this and do this. And then play this. Let me transition that and play. So that was that's Dan and Heather's farm up in Nova Scotia, and kind of cool to see they're like tucked in just like a forest, and they've been doing natural farming for 3-4 years though. I don't know. They came here last year in January and learned, took the week-long training course and learned here. And so what they've been doing, let me kind of, oh man, if I don't have YouTube, let me just go through this a little bit. Let me do this and yeah, let me just do that. So, so anyway, just looking at their thing, basically, you know, they're near this beautiful lake. They're up in Nova Scotia. It gets cold up there. But so basically this is their, I believe, part of this is a winery and part of it is a stone fruit orchard. And then they also run a U-pick garden up here. So they're in kind of this, you know, pretty rural area. I mean, look at their, you know, they got this lake and they're surrounded by all this trees and things. So, you know, and then they're putting in this winery. And so he's been, Dan and Heather have been doing natural farming, and they're kind of an older couple. You know, I mean, compared to me, they're, you know, 20, 30 years older than me, and I'm old. So, but yeah, so that's one of the things that's been the difficulty for them on the farm has been, you know, as they get older, just running such a big area is somewhat challenging. But you know, Dan's growing great. I think he's growing strawberries. I don't know, something like that as well. But I think part of this gotta be their, I don't know which parts their vines and which parts their orchard. Really should have Dan talk about it, but this is definitely their orchard. They grow a bunch of stone fruits and things. And then coming through this, their, you know, their nice farm here, their garden area there, I guess. And then at the very end, this is them. That's Dan, that's Heather, and I think this might be Heather's mom. But so it's these three folks that are farming this whole area and making a huge difference for everybody. So it's always inspiring for me to see everyone's, you know, farm like that, and to see, you know, people get into it and want to take an area like this and make it into natural farming, and you know, make the world a better place that way. So yeah. You're in Nova Scotia. Well, look up, if you're in Nova Scotia, look up these guys right here. It's Lunenburg Country Winery, and look up these guys because they are great folks. They really had fun at the training. You know, Dan is like into natural farming. He's made most of the solutions on his own. He came here, they learned a whole bunch, and then Heather was kind of diving in head first. She was there to really support Dan, her husband, you know, and it's so great to see a loving couple get into it. But they both got, you know, just learned so much, and we made IMOs, and I showed them how to make a better collection. Although he sent me an email the other day, I'm not sure his collection came out that great, but I think he ended up leaving it a little long. And then yeah, and so we got that. So, and then there was yeah, the awesome garden pictures. That was actually Tyler. He's in here. Last week was Tyler's garden that I showed. And then this week, what else? I got another video from Hawkeye here. Joseph. I've been trying to link up with him, but I didn't get here early enough to kind of get things set up, and he has to go and be at the right place to connect. But I did. Let's see here. So let's switch this over to this one here. And so this is Joseph in New Mexico. So
welcome back to Hawkeye Speaks.
But he's been putting out, I'm going to mute him for just a sec, because he's been putting out some good videos just talking about how to build, regenerate the desert, and then, his earth ships and living kind of sustainably out there in New Mexico, Taos, I think, area. But working on, regreening the desert and bringing this place back to life. So if you're interested, I'll link this video. In fact, I'll just drop it in the chat right now. You can watch that and tune in. He has a great message, and I'll listen to this later and get into it. But wanting to, talk story with people that are on the right path, doing the right things, and what a different ecosystem, the desert versus where I'm at in the tropics. But again, natural farming works anywhere. Cool, the fifth Bardo. I would definitely get in touch with them and link up. So like a thing. And then, so yeah, that's another good thing of being here, finding the right people. Yeah, how's it? Let's see. And then I also got another email this week. I got a few. One is this, I thought this was kind of cool. So the guy last week that emailed me, Chris, he's been doing some meditations at his lake, envisioning a column of light. And then he took a photo of the lake where he sat to do it. And sure enough, there is a column of light. Kind of interesting. So, having good vibes, doing nice things, tuning into the higher spirits. And he says, yeah, so, it's interesting to share all kinds of things, on subject, off subject, inspiration. I guess the column of light, being mindful, being, into serving the higher power, God. It's all natural farming. It's all interrelated. So some interesting things there. And then I did get one other question here. Coming from the email here, where you may or may not be able to read it, but they were asking me, let me just make it bigger. Does it matter? It doesn't really matter, but I'll make it bigger too. So these folks here coming in from Central Texas, they're making a permaculture format maintained with KNF and JADAM. They have a 6.5 acre property with, oaks and scrub oaks and small pine, which sounds pretty awesome. Sounds sort of oaks are great trees. And they have an understory of yapan, which some would say would be invasive. I view it as an opportunity. That's super smart because you can probably ferment the heck out of this and use it to be fertile somewhere else. And it's an understory, so it's protecting your soil. So transforming the land versus, what my neighbor just did, which they just bulldozed their entire land. It's a different approach. You can do agriculture and produce food, but what is your long-term effect on the land? How are you bringing fertility up? Those things that, and so they bought this land because it has the IMO they're looking for. So these guys sound, Emmette and Steph sound like they're next level folks. They already knew what to go for. And they have a dry creek bed in the middle, but most likely with the right things, tune into some Jeff Lawton stuff, do the right natural farming, it will be a wet creek bed and you'll get water to flow again. And so he's asking, his question here though is, do we need a certificate to teach? And it's nice he put his question in bold and he has the right amount of paragraph length. Really easy to, I really commend you, Emmette. Really nice email. And the question is, do I need a certificate to teach? Do you need a certificate to teach? No. Go teach. Go spread, go do. What is the benefit of coming here to learn KNF Farm? What is the benefit of coming here, getting certified, doing the thing, coming to these courses? Is one, you go through from 0 to 60, right? Or 0 to 100 is a better way, 100, keep it 100. You go through and you learn, from basics to advanced, and it's all depends on your capacity to absorb things, but we leave no solution untouched. We also apply it practically. You build community with the folks that are here. You build relationship with me. I teach you level 1, which is understanding how to apply, level 2, which is how to manufacture the solutions, and level 3, which is how to teach and how to connect with the community that we have and what resources are out there, and a long-standing history of Korean natural farming, going through Master Cho, the whole lineage, and get you as much as possible. So you do end up coming here and getting a Per KNF level 1, 2, and 3 certificate when you train here. But do you need it to go teach? No, not necessarily. Go teach. If you learned a little bit, go start teaching. However, don't be saying you're like doing it pure KNF and start to run into where, you would undermine what I'm teaching. In terms of, I try to keep, what I'm doing, teaching to you, giving you this power, this ability, this understanding. Once you've taken the 1, 2, and 3, I think you end up having a much better idea and responsibility and situational awareness and context and all the things that I deem are necessary for you to go out to do a good job. If you're just learned on the internet, you've tuned into office hours, you know some stuff and you want to teach, fine, good, do it, but I do have courses held here and they're in Hawaii. So November and January. And there are some folks that teach on the mainland. But what I do here is small class size, very in depth, 7 days, full integration. So advice on that, is how to do it. So, and these guys here, they say they have friends with many local farmers and gardeners who are still chemical based, coming from big ag and ag co-op. We'd be honored not only better our practices on our farm, but help as an educational hub for the way. And the way to do that is, you got to be successful yourself. If people are doing it and you want to be the way, you forgot the H and the E in the way, but you got to prove that it works and do it correctly and be successful and know the tips and tricks to do it and be as efficient as you can. And that's what I try to do. I try to take my 15 years of experience, condense it into 1 week, give as much as I can to you if you're here, and do it. And so folks that have been here know it works well. So, and then again, here at the bottom, he's saying, so sorry what happened on the island of Maui. Absolute tragedy. May have been preventable had they had KNF spraying drones and brought their soil to life and had living things around them. I don't know. But I know that what we're up to is the solution and is the thing. So anyway, do you need to be certified to teach? No, it just gives you credentials. It gives you access. It gives you a direct lineage to Master Cho. It gives you the hands-on, the taste, the smell, the tactile experience that I believe is necessary. I've been doing natural farming for 15 years, and before I thought I knew what I was doing, I didn't. I've even had some students that have been certified or come here to take the course that have been trained by other folks, and they're like, wow, I learned so much more here. My friend Brittany went up to Idaho, learned from a class up there where there were about 60 people there, and she knows natural farming, learned about it, then came here and was like, whoa, I learned so much more. This was so worth it, so much better. So, and you know, continued support through this office hour, trying to get other things together. You know, trying to seek the inner truth, you know, trying to do what I really care about. And what I mean, what I truly, I was telling my wife the other day, what I truly care about is making the earth a better place, making it livable, you know, getting rid of the pollution, the toxins. Farming, I like doing farming because it's makes me sovereign, but I'm not that into farming. I'm not like, I want to grow so much food and feed the world. I'm more like, I want to just make the earth a healthier place, a livable place. I came from the realm of computer science. You know, I was trained to be, you know, I write Java and C and Python and Ruby and, you know, JavaScript, and, you know, I speak all these other languages, right? And I love that. And I love the computer and I love that kind of stuff. But, and that's, you know, like if I had a choice, what do you want to do today? Assuming the earth's going to be good, program the earth or program the computer. I like the computer because one thing, I get on the thing and it's like I can write apps that affect millions of people out there. I can do stuff that continues to work. And I love the earth. I love being on it. But, you know, and I'm not to be egotistical, but I'm pretty darn good at natural farming. I love it. I see it, and it's just this holistic, like spiritual, you know, like programming, all these huge ways, and I've been highly trained. So I love it. And I love doing it because I love being sovereign and living on a piece of land. But I'm not the kind of person that's like wanting to grow a bunch of food for people. Really what I enjoy doing is getting my drone out and spraying the microbes and realizing that I'm building a better immune system for our farm and all these things, and building fertility and building soil and building a microbial oasis. And the crops and the food are just one way to do this. You know, at certain points in my life, I've been more into farming, but recently, you know, it's trying to support a community and do these other things. So my true inner truth and teaching people and giving them the tools they need to go do it. Because if your passion is growing food and you come here and I help you, or you tune into this and I help you, you will do it better. It's just inevitable. You know, more knowledge, more understanding, more depth, you'll find it out. So, and Thomas here was here and he said, taking the class on the farm was an awesome way to see KNF becoming a reality versus a concept. And that's true. I also live the Gandhi lifestyle of, you know, you can't just tell people about things. You actually got to do it yourself. If I'm not doing it and I'm telling you to something, it's like, you know, so I learn by experience. I do it. So hopefully I don't undermine myself too much here of being like, you know, but I'm just like, my passion is not agriculture. My passion is earth restoration. My passion is seeing the ocean become fertile again, and see fish and whales and dolphins. And we are, you know, I understand exponential theory, and we're just on a path towards just extinction and reversing that extinction curve and seeing more diversity, more microbes, more life, everything. So I hope that doesn't be like, you know, if you want to learn agriculture, you come here and you think, well, he's not even into agriculture. It's like, agriculture is one way to get there. As I always say on this farm, or on this office hour, one of the most destructive things we do on the earth is agriculture. You know, and then how we live with yards and mowing and everything. But agriculture, thousands of acres of land just tilled, off-gassing, destroying the soil, mining thousands of years. Like, if we want to live hundreds or thousands more years, we sure as heck should be building the soil, not mining and taking it all. And so, you know, that's my passion, is to see, you know, no-smell animals go to America. People live in harmony with nature. People live in food abundance. And take good care of the earth. So that's, you know, if you're interested in those types of vibes and you want to do agriculture and you want to change the life and you want to just even be a climate activist where you're just like putting solutions out, not just complaining, that's what I do. So, so anyway, you guys know that. You've tuned in here. I feel like I'm on a little rant there of just like what I ended up, but you know, inner truth, that's my inner truth, is doing this. and doing it right. So I appreciate everyone out there on the same page doing it. And yeah, seeing the KNF recipes turn the desert green again. Absolutely. It's of all the solutions out there, all these things, Korean natural farming, in Korean natural farming, it's just because that's Master Cho's named it that, is the way. So anyway, there was a question from Andrew up here about getting a book from an organization that I cannot endorse, and that you're on your own for that one, man. I can't help you. It's no longer a good organization, and I'm not even going to mention its name here. Yeah, I would not deal with those folks. They're corrupt. So there was a huge schism in 2018. I know I'm not supposed to talk about it just because I'm supposed to stay positive and move forward, but that organization is no longer good. So if you want Master Cho's books, I give a bunch of those to my students when they come on PDF format, and that's one way to get them. But I would not. It's like, what do you? I don't know. Anyway, I'll avoid that question just because I don't want to talk about that. But I mean, inner truth is that they are nasty, nasty folks, and a lot of betrayal and copyright infringement and all kinds of gross stuff. So, it's a bummer. When you try and do good with folks and then it ends up being not that good. So, okay, let's see. What do I want to move on to here? Yeah. Yeah. And I get passionate when I talk about the earth, what I'm doing, and I get there's like a huge pain in my heart of what has happened with natural farming, the organizations, the split, like even the previous question asking about courses on the mainland of things, at one point had it pretty darn organized. And that's one problem is when you concentrate power into one thing, then that entity can become easily corruptible, and folks with non-pure, non-good intentions can get involved, and then can corrupt things, and it's beyond your control to stop. And so I think one of the lessons I've learned in natural farming is not to concentrate power. And that's why when I teach folks, I kind of, give them as many tools as I can, but send them out as distributed entities to do things versus trying to create like one power structure, one like certification thing where it's like, because it gives like power and hierarchy. And then that leads to where it's like, you can discriminate by saying, well, you are and you're not, and this and that. And it becomes political. Versus it becomes, a meritocracy and based on your merit. And I try to lead as much of a distributed thing as possible. I mean, there's benefits to centralization and there's benefits to distribution. And so I try, these days I'm trying to bring as minimal centralization as possible. Obviously, there's this office hour and I do it each week. But I want to make it more distributed where I'm bringing in more people, interviewing more things, and making it available. Yeah. And actually, the literature, getting those things out, that is tends to be a centralization type of thing, because usually there's one author that writes something great and puts it out, and it's been kind of, out there. Yeah. So if you come here, Andrew, I hook you up with everything. All those books are sitting right behind me on this shelf. You see this shelf right here? That's all what those are. All those are natural farming books. There's tons of them. There's not just one. There are tons of them. And And that's, they're right behind me right there on that shelf. And a lot of them come from this guy, Master Cho. And Pure KNF Foundation keeping me here to share with this, So, yeah. So thanks for recognizing things. I don't want to just be here talking about myself and these things, because if you're a longtime viewer, you've heard about this a lot. I notice sometimes on YouTube, though, they say, if you're new, da-da-da, and they repeat the same message, and then they get into their other message. And I think oftentimes I don't do that. I just kind of push forward and do things. So, but I appreciate. So anybody else got anything they want to get into? There's a question here. What do I think of the work of Dr. Richard Orley? I'm unfamiliar. But at least now there's the internet here. Bad minerals. So he's talking about minerals. Mineralization. So I have a theory on mineralization that minerals are fossilized microbes. And when you can unlock the minerals and reanimate them, they become good microbes. So minerals are fossilized microbes. I don't know if that's true or not, but minerals and microbes, in my mind, if you mineralize your field, all of a sudden you get good microbes. If you microbe your field, all of a sudden you get good minerals. They're very interlinked. And it's kind of this living biological formula that I have. And so I'll look up Richard Orley here, see what he has to say. I'm sure if he's talking with the Bionutrient Food Association, that is, what's the guy's name? I just had it. Oh man, it's hard to keep all this stuff in my head. And he's working with Acres USA. I would say that those are great references, that if he's working with those folks, they're pretty good. He's a bit older than me, and he's a chiropractor. Kind of interesting. I think if you don't study directly into this stuff, but you get in indirectly, you have more. Dan Kitteridge, that's the guy's name. Thank you. I have one of his bionutrient food meters over here. I really underutilized that. I wanted to do some things and then get those things. Thomas was here. He took pictures of the books, but he lost them all. So, yeah. So, so I think this is an interesting comment here from Spencer. It says, hard to do IMO in the community garden, but JMS has been working well for me and very good at disease suppression. So, interesting because, it's kind of an indirect method, but the JADAM microbe solution, tends to be pretty good at doing things. It just stimulates the microbes. So if you're curious, and one book I do have is the book that I've written here. And let me switch this over here let me do this here and switch this over. So in my book here, which is an ebook out here, has all the recipes, has most of the stuff you need to get into it recipe-wise. But in the very back of the book, it talks about the 3 core solutions of Youngsung Cho. And one of them is this disgustingly cheap microbes, also known as JMS. And it's a terribly low-cost solution, but it's super quick and super easy. So you're doing it in a community garden. You take water, rich microbial soil, some starch, and some sea salt, mix it all in a bucket, and then let it go. And what happens is the microbes take off. The good microbes outcompete the bad microbes, and you use it at this point, and you will get a whole bunch of good worker microbes out there. Yeah, so you already have my book. You're just looking for more literature. Okay, I understand the struggle is real. And then if you use it in a later stage, those microbe bodies become like dead bodies that you put out there, and it becomes more of a fertilizer. So so that's great. I'm glad that this is working for you because it's a quick, dirty, simple, easy, cheap, terribly disgusting way to get microbes out there. And yeah. So so anyway, those are the things that are good. I can go behind me and get a stack of books if you guys want. I've done the books before as an early office hour, but may as well review now at this point. Much bigger audience at this point. I'll go grab those books. I'll be right back. So, I don't have the space in the city to do the IMO process. Is it worth doing liquid IMO? Yeah, it's worth doing liquid IMO. And your JMS smells just like the forest floor if you're using it early enough. That's where it's at. I mean, it's pretty darn effective. Getting microbes into your soil is effective. You know, if I wouldn't do IMO, you know, Master Cho's process unless you're commercially farming and you're going to do a big area, and or you're going to take a bunch of it, make high quality stuff, and then do a liquid IMO. It's just a lot of effort to make, you know, for just a small plot or whatever. Your JMS, you're just as good. And or take IMO2, like collect IMO from the forest, make an IMO2 and then make a tea and then use the liquid IMO that way and not go through the 3 and the 4 stage, you know, the propagated and the activated stages. I should use the language, but so in no particular order, books I have over there. Masanobu Fukuoka, One Straw Revolution. Thanks to Mike Spangler for sending this to me. But if you haven't read this book, definitely do. Okay, it's good. Then we got Eco Farm by Acres USA. This one is Charles Walter and CJ Fenzau. Super good book. You want to get into eco agriculture. This is a thick boy. Really good. Then we got Agriculture by Rudolf Steiner. This is his lectures on biodynamics, which then got codified and turned into a cult following of biodynamics that's super stringent on certain things. But if you read this is just about the principles of the book, not necessarily, or the principles of biodynamics, not necessarily so dogmatic as biodynamic comes out to be. Then we got Gil's book, Gil Karangdang. Grow Your Own, it's called. And this is, you know, Gil talking about super cheap ways similar to the JADAM stuff of Young Song. Really good stuff. Yeah, you might be able to get Dibjet. You might be able to get rid of mosaic virus by putting JMS. The thing you want to do is overwhelm it with good microbes. Then I do not recommend this book. I have this one. I keep it on my shelf just because when students come, I show them how absolutely wrong this book is. It's, if you follow this type of natural farming, you are doing a like, that's the thing. There's good and there's bad natural farming. This is terrible natural farming. And unfortunately, this is like the predominant version in the Philippines. And that's why when I went there, every solution I tasted was vinegar. And that's why they're not doing very good natural farming there. Then I got this book. It's How to Grow Rice. It's in Korean. But this Master Cho wrote books specifically on specific crops. It's a thin guy, specifically on rice farming. And I got this one. This one is Fruit Trees So we went for a whole week to Korea to learn about what the contents of this book are. This one's all about fruit trees, how to prune them, how to apply things at the right points in time. This one is all in Korean. And I got this guy. This is the Youngsang Cho's version of natural farming. I call it disgustingly cheap KNF. And this book is very comprehensive. If you don't have a copy of this, I do recommend getting this. And I do highly recommend you get this book. Although you can also get my book and get the same recipes for, you know, I don't know. Anyway. And then I got Teaming with Microbes, right? And Jeff Lowenfels, his whole thing, teaming with minerals, teaming with fungi, teaming with microbes, all his teaming with series, highly recommend it. Then I got The Carbon Cycle, Leon Ridzen. This book completely changed my life. This is the most influential book in my life. Hard to get this book. In fact, the first one is called The Carbon Connection, and I don't even have it. For some reason, I loaned it to people. What a bad idea, because I never got it back. Then I got Natural Farming by Han Q Cho, Mr. Joe. That's a good one, but I wouldn't recommend buying it from those people that sell it. So how do you get it? Well, I don't know. And then I got JADAM in Japanese. And there's a whole ton more back there that I didn't grab, but I started from the natural farming side. There's a whole ton more. So, anyway, got a few more questions here. I could grab some more books. Thomas is saying his disgustingly cheap microbes smell more like the Lacto. And the Goofman is saying that he uses IMO method and JMS in his small garden. Smart, way to go, easy. Keep it simple, keep it good. And no, if it smells like the rice wash water, Spencer here, it's good actually. It's still, that's the lactobacillus smell. It's only if it smells putrid, like dead bodies. Like either you're doing the lactobacillus part wrong, or you're but it shouldn't smell like death. So JMS water should smell like, if you're using it as a microbe thing, it should smell a little sour like that. If it smells like dead bodies, rotten eggs, vomit, baby poop, those are bad signs. But if it doesn't smell like that, it's still in its growing up stage, still enough food, still good. So one of those two things is incorrect if you're saying it's not good there. And that's the thing about coming here and learning, is you get to smell the things and see the things and taste the things. And I'll warn you, don't taste this, do taste this, whether it's good or bad. I've had, enough experience here to know these things in and out. I don't, I think I'm the most qualified senior person practicing in America. Once Kim Chang passed away, and bless her soul, wouldn't be there without her. I think I took that title, War Through Attrition, man. And then if I teach you and then I die, then you could be that person too. Yeah, covering the 9 solutions. Okay, where do I get a microscope on the internet? I've gone over the microscope plenty, so what a better time than to pitch KNF support here and searching here and search microscope. So knfsupport.com, and what microscope to buy. Here it is, what microscope to buy on KNF support. Why answer the same question when it's been answered before? And then you can look up Elaine Ingham has a recommendation. And because I'm not on YouTube Premium, there's an ad, but you can look that up yourself and see it. Also, KNF support, and go, let me bring this in a little bit so you guys can see here. And go up here to office hours, and you can search the office hours and search for Microscope. And there's tons of episodes that have talked about the microscope. I really got to make this easier, where I should just single this down and not have the entire table of contents come out, just the one you wanted. Oh well, I gotta, speaking of, I love programming and all that. Maybe the inner truth, the message from the sage is that I need to do a little bit more programming and make things better. But there's tons of resources. You can go through here and search that and find that. You'll find it. It's great. Yeah, Matt Powers basically has summarized Elaine Ingham's work. So I don't know the guy personally, yeah. So, and then, you know, get a microscope from anywhere you find them possible. Teaming with rhizophagy. Can't say I recommend it though. Okay, so maybe not teaming with rhizophagy. I haven't read all Jeff Lowenfeld's books. So yeah, and JMS. So there's lots of folks that have been getting into the JMS, the disgustingly cheap stuff. I think it's because Master Cho's stuff is so complex that it's high level precision, you know. For most people, like Toyota's work and Master Cho's stuff is like the Lamborghini, right? It's very high precision. Once you buy it, you gotta take real good care of it. You gotta go to a special mechanic. You gotta learn all these things, versus the Toyota is just like, get it done. And the JADAM stuff is just get it done. So, and I used to talk about the Facebook group here, you know, and there's a bunch of resources here if you go to this thing. But I've completely abandoned this thing. I mean, it's still alive. It's still going. It's a distributed product, and it looks like it's still alive and going. But if you go here under the media, I think, where's there a files tab? There used to be a files thing here. Maybe it's not even here, but Facebook wants me to sign in and I refuse to. I basically hate the Facebook platform, so. But it's linked there, and I am the admin of that group, and it is still alive. Thanks to the moderators keeping it the gross stuff out. Maybe it got a little better. I don't know. Doesn't look too bad right now. Usually it's pretty terrible. Oh, but you guys can't even see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this here. I went basically on the right side. There's this little help life ring, and then I clicked here to get to the KNF group. So, okay. Yeah, Lacto is good. If you're getting Lacto smells on a JMS, it's good. So don't worry about those. Advanced permaculture class, it's pretty good. Yeah. Learning permaculture, learning Korean natural farming. Basically, permaculture is above the ground. Korean natural farming is below the ground. And the stuff, the permaculture is the seen, KNF's the unseen, right? So if you learn both these things, you're going to be a good farmer, and a permaculturalist and a person that's pro-earth. It's not you're not necessarily going to earn that much money growing a whole bunch of food. I mean, you can, but you have to learn more about how to do it efficiently. Do I think it's possible to control brown plant hopper of rice with the JADAM soap, sulfur, and herbs? Yes. Do I know which recipe? No. Capture a few of them, mix a few things up, try it on them, see what kills them, see what doesn't kill your plants, and then spray it. That's the whole methodology he outlines in this book. And so it's super simple. I mean, you couldn't get more simple on, pest control of making herbs and spraying them. This book, I know I'm holding up the Japanese one, but it has it all in there. So if you're curious, one-stop shop, you can learn it. Banana lacto ferment to finish. That sounds interesting. And a lacto. So if you guys are making lacto fermented kudzu, you guys are making more of a fermented plant extract, which is fine. It's good. It's just not as. You should learn the difference between KnfFood, which is a fermented plant juice, versus an FPE, fermented plant extract. Very seldom do I recommend fermented plant extracts. They are efficient. It's more similar to a, if I go over here, it's more similar to these things. Like a fermented plant extract is more similar to a disgustingly cheap food. It may not stink as bad because you've added lactobacillus to it in high quantities, but you're more around this disgustingly cheap food, which is okay. You get, for affordability, for bang, you probably get for dollar, you probably get more value out of this. But for high quality stuff that you really care about, you really want to be going with a fermented plant juice here. And the health benefits and understanding the secrets of this, KnfFood, a fermented plant juice, is like next level. This stuff is like the king of all medicine. It really is. It perfectly mimics plant exudates, and there are so many reasons for going this route versus the other. It all depends on size, scale, and affordability, though. You don't want to be making, tons and tons of this stuff because the sugar will drive you bankrupt. But you do want to make enough of it because you dilute it 1 to 500, and the bang you get from this is about where it's at. So, so making a fermented plant juice from, a KnfFood versus going the disgustingly cheap food, even if you're using lacto, it's more along the lines of this, and it's just, it's not as, there are so many more reasons to do a fermented plant juice. Could enumerate them, but I do recommend knowing both recipes and using them where appropriate for both things. Knowing your size, your scale, your things, when it's appropriate, that's hugely important. Yeah. So anyway, I don't necessarily recommend JADAM sulfur, the sulfur as a thing to use. There are certain use cases where it makes sense to use sulfur, but most use cases with sulfur, they don't make sense. Some people, it's like using a nuclear bomb to take things out. There's times where it may make sense to do it. You're going to have to deal with the fallout. You're going to have to deal with the, all the repercussions that come with that. But there may be cases where it makes sense. In my opinion, probably not. But some people can justify it. And then if you do come in with a nuclear bomb like sulfur, then you got to come in with so much remediation to rebuild it up. You got to be the globalist of your world, destroy it and then come in and rebuild it. You got to be the Halliburton of your farm, and so, if you bro down with Halliburton and that's like something you want to be, then go for it. But, there's a lot of better ways to do it, be the Peace Corps, come in with good beneficial microbes, leave the JS at the, to someone else. But have it handy, have it around, because you never know when you're going to need it. You need to, threaten those microbes and be like, if you don't shape up, I'm going to get this, JS, the sulfur on you, and then make sure you put a lot of propaganda out and make sure your plants understand that. Anyway, I get into this whole global picture we have of how we use things and then bring it into the microcosm of agriculture. I love going out on those tangents because when you understand agriculture, you understand microorganisms, you understand this, you'll have the solutions to the world and you'll see through majority of the cruft. It's really a good thing to do. So what's up, Nebraska? Marty Raspberry. It's good to see all you folks here. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. The community. Just today, we were able to link up some folks, hopefully in Nova Scotia, linking people up. This distributed, centralized, but distributed model. I hope it's working for you guys. Taking these few questions. I have 2.5 gallons of brown sugar fish. It's almost been 2 years. I haven't checked it. Would it be a good sign? So if you've had a bucket of fish and sugar, it should smell sweet. There might be a few molds and things on the top, but those are probably benign. And if you look, it should have a really dark looking fish sauce that, it should taste sweet. It should smell sweet, should taste sweet, should be amazing in eating it and or spraying it on your plants. Dilute 1 to 1,000, 1 to 2,000, somewhere in there, 1 to 3,000 even. It's going to be really potent stuff, but it should smell really good. You guys making solutions out there, 771 DP0. And it's great to hear. Making solutions, pouring things off, getting things going. You guys, I don't know how you do it, learning from the internet, good resources, learning these things. And crab grows, I use a hybrid method where I add sorghum molasses to kickstart the lactobacillus into overdrive. I just feel my method is faster and more efficient. So activating lactobacillus with molasses is great. Good thing. When you mix it up, you activate it that way, you put it out, you're going to feed your lactobacillus. However, if you follow the Korean natural farming recipe, it already has sugar, so then when you dilute it, they're going to go to work. So, either way, but adding molasses in to activate things, one thing you can end up doing is over-sugaring, causing too much bacterial overgrowth, and there's all these subtle factors that if you come to the class, we will go into in extensive detail, and I will talk about all these things. If not, search the office hour, find these things, learn it, get out there, teach it, make it good. Everyone has great ideas of how to do these things. I have no idea what a DP from FCP means, but I am stoked with you guys, and I learn more each time I do this. I will check out Dr. Orley and check all that out. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in from around the world. Keep sharing it. Keep feeling accomplished by doing these things. And the banana trees, they're doing well. I was gonna do I have a few updates sitting in the queue. I was up there and I was like, man, it's a lot of effort to not only treat the bananas, but then also make a video each time and record it and do all that. I mean, it's hard enough for me to show up once a week here to do this. So maybe I'll just share some highlights next week about the banana project. But it's been going well. We did our 4th week. I think I've been doing 1 month, 3rd week, 4th week. I'm not sure exactly. That's why I video things, to keep a good record, but keep the bananas growing and all those things. So the knfFuel for human health is probably one of the best you could definitely take internally. That's why Asians look so young. They're using all those fermented aminos and all those things. Tell the future cannabis project that they can interview me if they want. I think I subscribe to them. If they don't know what they don't know, maybe they're not ready for it either too. But you'll see. So cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna get out of here. I got a few things I gotta do today, and it's my dog's birthday. Happy birthday to my dog Hina. She's turning 1 year old, so we got to take her on a walk to celebrate and all that. So thanks for tuning in. Gabe Brown. Yeah. Okay, cool. There's good things. So read the chat, get into there, and happy Puppers Day. All right. Cool. I'm going to go take good care of my dog. my dog. And I'm out of here. So thank you. See you next week. I'll most likely be here perhaps a little bit earlier, and hopefully we'll have a special guest. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Keep it real. Spread the natural farming. Keep the microbes going. You guys know what to do. Girls, you folks know what to do. I'll put a non-gender oriented phrase out there because we got the whole thing turning in. So thank you. Much love. Aloha. Goodbye now. See ya.